Hey everybody, what's up? Rifkin and Zombie coming at you with the International Top Dogs Round of 8 cast today. This was initially going to be a solo cast because Zombie's already worked extra hard, having done, I guess, a shift today, we'll say, casting the Lee Fang Cup this morning.
Can you hear that?
Not really. Is there a conversation or something in the background, or?
No, like literally as soon as you went live, someone just like turned their slow ballad music way up.
I got the StarCraft music pretty loud, so I wouldn't be able to hear it unless I muted everything. Also, unrelated, wow, the diamond portrait in the lobby, is that really fucking bright for you too, or is that just me?
It's like white.
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna show you this on stream. I'm standing out like a sore thumb right now thanks to my diamond portrait. And is it like... Am I having like a... It's moving, right? Like, I'm not crazy, that's moving, right?
It is moving.
What is going on here? We're gonna...
It's a little less bright now.
Look at that shit, guys. Fully screen. First off, that looks hella cool with our portrait. Saying like, yeah, it's totally moving. When you zoom in like 5,000%, and it's shiny. Yo, maybe fuck Masters. Diamond's the way to go. Apparently. All right, let's get out of the game. Get everything off my desk. Anyways, yeah, as stated, it was gonna be a solo cast, but Zombie Grub is really awesome. She's gonna put the extra effort in to come cast this, which is nice. We are in the lobby, as you guys saw from just a moment ago, with MarineLorD versus ByuN. This is the round of 8 cast that was meant to take place yesterday. I feel for RO8 Gaming on this one. Their entire tournament's been offset, and the finals was supposed to be today, but we had issues yesterday with the BattleNet. People couldn't log on. It was a whole mess of a headache, but we should be completing the round of 8 today, and I think the finals was rescheduled to the 12th or something. I have it on our calendar. I'll go look real quick.
Yeah, that sounds right. Was the 15th? No, it couldn't be the 15th. It's IAM.
It was moved to... No, I didn't move it on our calendar. Nice. I think it was like the 15th or the 12th, or it was something that got around the other events. Point is, we'll tell you guys later when we know the dates. Yeah, there's 4 best of 5s today, as you guys saw from the results page. I'm going to try and update this today. I'm normally pretty bad at this stuff, but ByuN versus MarineLorD, it'll be TLO versus Kellizer afterwards, I believe. You Thermal Whelmu, and then a Laser Nurchio. Now, the order of the matches may change because, well, they already have. This one wasn't scheduled to be first on my list, but it is what it is. Good games on the way, and that's all that matters.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of sucks about the whole internet issue. I mean, the good news is that probably means the lobby bug is fixed.
Let's hope so. There was a lot of maintenance that broke a lot of things for Blizzard yesterday. WoW got really screwed by whatever they did. Did you hear about this? So I thought I was in the minority of people affected by this, but apparently I was in the majority of people affected, where everyone's subscription got unsynced from their account. So while you had an active WoW subscription that you were of course paying for, it didn't recognize it. So you had to either go to the payment page on their website, opt in to pay for a new month, but then cancel the payment and not actually pay anything, and it would resync it with your account, or you had to get like a GM to do it for you manually. It sucked because I logged in and I'm like, oh, I must be out of game time. I didn't realize I thought it was on an auto renew. Like, I go to the website, you have 17 days remaining. I'm like, what's going on here? I thought I got banned, shadow banned. I don't know. Reached out to Blizzard customer support. They were actually really helpful, but the update yesterday was not just StarCraft, man. It screwed a bunch of stuff up. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I know that my experience is so far anyway, because I haven't used them very often, that Blizzard help is usually pretty good, but that just is like a ton of work. That doesn't sound too fun.
Well, shout out to the Blizzard French StarCraft Twitter. They've actually put out this really awesome graphic for this. I'm gonna go retweet that for the matches today. A lot of good players, a lot of good matchups.
Did you like the selfie I posted on Twitter?
The you and Scarlet one with, more importantly, cat hats, I suppose you could say. Yeah. For those who haven't seen this picture, you should absolutely check out Zombie Grub's Twitter. In fact, here, I retweet it on BaseTrade. I'll even retweet it on my thing, and you get a favorite too, because of the cats. Yeah.
Oh my god, I got 2 cat stories too.
Okay, well, before you tell those stories, I will say, if you guys have been able to piece together the quote-unquote secret information regarding our projects in Korea, hopefully over the next week or so we'll be able to publicize what we're doing. But Yeah, Zombie Grub and Scarlet hanging out doing stuff. Who knows what?
Who knows?
All right, cat story, go.
Okay, so first of all, when I was rushing home from super important business, I was so lucky to be rushing behind a girl who was carrying a cat carrier, and there was a kitten in it. Rifkin, it was a kitten. It
Like
was
a little
Siamese
baby green
kitten.
cat.
You know, like the Siamese, like they're like kind of like the gray, I
Yeah.
guess, or like black face. Yeah,
I always think of it from what was that movie? Was it Aristocats or Lady and the Tramp or one of them where there's like the two evil Siamese cats?
Oh, I didn't watch any of those.
Hang on, Disney evil Siamese cats. I gotta look this up because I just remember it was super hella racist too. Because like they're all like we Siamese.
Oh, that does sound familiar.
Cyan Am apparently were their names. What movie was this? Lady and the Tramp. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Well, it was cute and it was screaming. It was like meow 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 because I didn't know what was going on. I just got to follow. I was like
Meow,
literally looking at her
meow.
bag the entire time. And then on my way over here, a nice cow, like a like a cat that kind of looks like a cow. It has like cow patterns, white and black.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like a teenager. You know, it wasn't quite a kitten, but it wasn't a full adult. And it was so skittish, and I went up to it, and I was like, "It's okay, buddy."
Teenager.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't go too close to it because it was obviously very like scared. And I put my hand out, and then it saw something behind me and like kind of darted away, and I was like, "Oh, rats!" But as I started to walk back, he actually had walked back up to where I was, so I continued.
It's like, where'd she go? I just had to check on that thing real quick.
Yo,
I left the oven on.
I was so tempted to be late to this cast so I
Just
could
to
go
play
into
with
the
the cat.
CVS and buy some cat treats.
Nice.
I really should do that. I'm blessed with cats today. Seriously though, that kitten was so cute. All I could think of though was that I really hope that she adopted it and was bringing it home, and she wasn't like just taking it to like a crappy cat cafe where like they don't take care of their cats or something.
I feel like what I love about this is that okay, there's the you are a cat lady element, right? We all know it. We get it. Zombie Grub likes cats. But it's like you've been cat deprived and this is like your fix. You're like, I just need a hit. I just need one quick pet. That's all. One little cuddle. It ain't nothing. I swear. I can quit anytime I want to. Like,
One quick cuddle. That's seriously what's happening though. Like in like a week, I'm just gonna start following people around who have cat
you'll have like a whole
carriers.
bag of treats too, and it won't be like one of those bags you buy. You'll like have a grocery bag that you've like emptied all the treats into, so you can carry more.
Oh, some of the treats look so good too. Not gonna lie, like Korean cat treats better than America.
By the way, thank you Circa13 for the new Twitch Prime sub during that story, as well as Lemons TV for the 10-month resub. Ah yes, mother flippin' base trade.
It's a very important story. Thank you for letting me.
I'm glad you told it because I love cats too, man. So I'm down.
I know they're so cool.
But just for those who have tuned in and are like, why are they talking about cats and not cat seeing StarCraft? Just to show you the in-game screen. We are in the lobby. We're just waiting for the French stream. I think they're doing some like cool intros or something like that. But we'll figure that out shortly. Some more, I guess, behind-the-scenes news. With the New Year's coming around, a lot of contracts are running up. Recently, we talked about our G2A one and our question about renewing it and debacle and debate. Chairs for Gaming may be undergoing some temporary restructuring too. So, talking with them this morning, I'm just putting this publicly because I know that there'll be some one guy out there who's just like a bad apple and wants to make a drama out of it. Any sponsors that we end up going on a break with over the next couple months are not necessarily like permanent breaks and are like structured intentional breaks. So for example, you may see the Chairs for Gaming logo disappear from the stream for a couple of months with the full intention of re-signing with them and everything in the new year once everything's been restructured. So we also have some new sponsors that I've been talking to and some potential sponsors that we're trying to get in touch with for unannounced, unrelated events. So we got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes for BaseTradeTV. Very, very, very busy over here on my side of things. So I bring this up to comfort you guys and know that no, there's not a bunch of scary stuff happening. It's the end of the year. Contracts are running out, renegotiating, all that good stuff.
It's the end of the year. That was
Yes,
great.
that's a correct statement, technically. You've just won the spelling bee of sentences. Congratulations.
Thank you. The spelling bee.
Okay, so today's the Top Dog Finals. It's also the last day of November, and our December schedule starts up soon. Tomorrow we kick off with the Yord Would You Watch This tournament. My concern with this, though, is that we don't actually have a ton of signups for it, and I'm hoping we get some more. So if you guys have your favorite pro gamers, you're big fans of people like, I don't know, Snoot or whomever, please tweet at them, please message them, try and tell them to sign up for the event. We hope to see lots of good faces there. However, while that one may be in a little bit of a limbo land as far as people signing up for it, have you seen the signups for Make Korea Great Again?
Not since like 24 hours ago.
So there's not a lot of signups, but there's some pretty good names on this list. And some of the more recent signups were Pet Innovation and ByuN even. So, I mean, there's a lot of Terrans. It's Terran. What do you expect, right? It's Korea. But it's going to be great seeing some of these names we don't normally get to see. So I'm excited for that.
Wow, ByuN hates kimchi. It's so weird. Yeah, those are really cool names.
Oh,
and this is what we hoped for when we made the tournament. Like, it was literally made because Koreans might have been able to participate after all this time. So it's nice if, like, all of them would sign up and prove it. Wow.
ByuN doesn't like vegetables. I know. I'm so picky with vegetables, too. I love ByuN. ByuN was already my favorite for a lot of reasons, but now he's, like, my super ultra favorite.
I'm still looking for someone to go out and eat bosom with.
Is that the army stew?
No.
Damn
but
it.
I'm very proud of you for even knowing. That's the thing.
I was trying really hard to impress you, senpai.
That's budu jjigae or something like that. No, bosom is like boiled pork.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Rebel Dragon 86 for the 5-month resub. So safe travels, everyone. Good holidays for all. Yeah. Also, yeah, so again, if you're just joining us, we're in the lobby and we're waiting for the O Gaming stream to get ready to go, I guess. But we are discussing chicken now and stuff with
well,
yeah, I guess.
It all started with MarineLorD saying that France was better than Korea.
So I learned something really interesting unrelated to this, actually. Last night, in a fit of rage, dealing with just idiots, I put my Twitter on private mode for the night, just so I wouldn't have to deal with it. This happened to be during the hours, I guess, in which those bot followers follow, because I got like 15 requests to follow me, because I've never used private mode ever before. I didn't know how that worked. But I got 15 requests to follow me, and I look at them all, and they're all very clearly fake accounts. So I'm starting to wonder, like, is it just, like, should I just be doing private mode every night to kind of block out and stop the bot followers?
Maybe. So nighttime, where you are, would be maybe just all Asian bot followers.
Yeah, I guess because it would be daytime over in, like, that part of the world. I don't know.
Maybe it's all the Chinese WoW gold farmers with their day job.
I wish I was getting Chinese wild gold farmers following me. I'd be like, yo, give me gold for the cheap. We're Twitter bros now. Give me a deal.
You would use that? My God.
Are you kidding me? If I didn't have to spend, if I could spend $10, like obviously this isn't. I have no idea what gold's worth, but like let's say I could spend $10 to get like 100,000 gold or something, right? I would 100% do that instead of spend like 5 hours farming. Jesus Christ, like without a doubt. Not that I promote or condone the buying, selling gold, blah blah blah, illicit activities, but I'm just saying, like, logically, monetarily, it's actually beneficial to do that.
Oh, I mean, I've been tempted before too, especially when I didn't know how to make money in World of Warcraft. This was like in like the 3rd year that World of Warcraft was a thing, and I had no idea how to make money, to be honest. And my friend would give me gold, and I'd be like, "Oh no, it's too much." She's like, "It literally took me like an hour. Like, what are you doing?" Or something.
Thank you to Sinister Man for the Twitch Prime sub. Did I say that right? Sinister Man. Oh, there you go. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. I was gonna say, the one time I've actually bought services for any of that stuff was when we were playing Final Fantasy with Fear Dragon and Olivia, and I was so bored of that game. They were okay playing it. I just couldn't. I will say this. I think Final Fantasy 3 was it 14 or what was it, 10?
14. 14.
Final Fantasy 14 is like the worst MMO I've ever played. And I don't mean to take shots at people who enjoy it, because it was beautiful and it was good in some ways. But personally speaking, I thought it was the worst MMO I've ever played. And I could not stand the questing system in it or the leveling system, and I got very bored of it. So I think I paid to have the last like 3 levels finished off for me. That was a very interesting experience. I would never go with my WoW account, because like for Final Fantasy 2, by the way, like I did not care. Like, you guys have to understand just how much I did not care about this game, and I was playing just because my friends were playing. So if my account got hacked or compromised or stolen, no fucks given. But my WoW account, I've had for like 10 years. It is like my baby. I would never risk someone else like stealing my baby.
Yeah, I get that. But I will counter with your worst MMO ever made with the fact that Final Fantasy 11 was by far worse.
I never played it, so... I didn't say ever made, but I've ever played.
Oh, I guess
which does rhyme.
Damn. Well.
Hey, you just nailed rhyming by accident for once. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks. Final Fantasy 14, when it was originally introduced, was legitimately the worst MMO ever made. Like, that was not even like an argument. You could not play it. It was so bad from a really good publisher, which is why it was so weird. But Final Fantasy 11, like, as slow as you thought Final Fantasy 14 is, this is a warning to all of you guys. Final Fantasy 14 is really slow. Don't play it if you like WoW. 11 was like 10 times slower. It was a grind. It wasn't just it wasn't like slow leveling, just like everything was slow.
Elects are almost ready to go, by the way. They're saying about 20 seconds, so awesome. But it wasn't like, okay, whatever. I got sick of the quests and the style of play, but for me the worst part was the global cooldown system. Like in WoW, there's a global cooldown as well, but it's like not a big deal. Final Fantasy 14, you want to interrupt a spell? Well, you're going to have to wait like a whole 5 seconds for your auto attack to go off first so that you can interrupt it afterwards. Like, that for me was just the deal breaker.
I accidentally picked the fastest class in Final Fantasy 14, the monk or whatever, and I was like, this is so slow, something's got to be better. And Fierder's like, no, that's the fastest one. And I was like,
nope.
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult game to get into.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have the game going. Quick shout outs to Eric Meyer for the 27 months as we got into the game. Thank you so much. In the bottom right side of the map, here on Newkirk Precinct, for the top dogs, round of 8, we've got the Red Terran player, MarineLorD.
In the bottom left has the Blue Terran. He is ByuN.
And of course, my settings are off from us playing co-op. One sec, guys. Sorry about that.
ByuN must be in the same sleep schedule I am. He was playing in the Lefang Cup.
Sounds like the perfect person to go get food with.
Except that he hates vegetables and beer and kimchi.
No, that's great though. You realize that's the Rifkin effect, where you get all of the side dishes. You're gonna get all the stuff he hates.
I don't want to get all the beer.
No, but for example, like he's gonna order chicken. It'll come with kimchi because it's Korea. Boom, double the kimchi for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. As always, you have the best ideas when it comes to sharing food.
All right. Well, this TvT, I'm actually curious to see how this will look. I think most Terrans we cast, we say pretty generic things, right? Regarding, it's the Banshee opener, it's this, that, and the other. But MarineLorD is one of the more aggressive Terrans in Europe, just generally speaking for all matchups. And also one of the guys willing to try new and different things, as he's been pretty, I think, connected with a lot of the players that have been, advancing the meta throughout the past.
Yeah.
ByuN, though, I feel is this guy who it doesn't matter what he plays, whether it's new or old or different, he's just going to play well no matter what. So it's a really silly blanket statement to make, but that's a lot going against MarineLorD before even the first SCV is built.
Oh yeah, MarineLorD has an uphill climb right here. It's just that ByuN, who's been around since Wings of Liberty, of course, since like beginning StarCraft 2, even on his hiatus, he was apparently still playing StarCraft. I just can't imagine an expansion where suddenly this guy isn't good at Terran.
Right. Well,
so far there hasn't been one.
Before we build him up to be too infallible, I do want to point out we have seen ByuN go 3-2 and lose against players like Ryung and some others who are definitely not highly ranked amongst, I think, other Koreans. Of course, highly ranked amongst us because we see him in the Alima League all the time. But the point is, ByuN does actually have weaknesses, and he's fallible for a lot of different things. And sometimes, while his decision making is good, or excuse me, his micro is always good. His decision making sometimes is not. So if
Yeah.
MarineLorD can catch him in some of these mistakes that ByuN will sometimes step into, there's definitely room for huge advantages. But that's a lot easier said than done. Now it is worth noting because MarineLorD went for a faster command center. You know, ByuN got to scout that and confirm it. He's gonna be later to his starport. I imagine for MarineLorD, he pumps out a Viking right away or something. Like I don't think this is him gonna be trying to rush to the later Banshee like we've seen other players do. Although,
yeah, that seems maybe.
he did scout too. So he knows ByuN doesn't have a natural down. I think both players are fully aware of what the situation's going to be.
Yeah, a lot of TvTs are opening with that one base Banshee into Raven or Viking or what have you. So for MarineLorD, it's not really that much of a problem. He's on his own Banshee. I don't think it's really a necessity. That's not why it's become more popular. I think it just leads into starport production in a consistent manner, you know, whereas, of course, MarineLorD's starport's a little bit later. The Cyclone, okay, so this is like first-hand experience, not so much that we've cast a lot of Cyclone pushes. This is actually the first time I think we've seen a Cyclone push across the map in TvT. The Cyclone's actually very annoying early game TvT when you don't have a lot of units, because it can take on, it can take on any unit basically, with its high DPS and now increased health pool, but as the game continues on, it's not that great. You're not going to be able to my Cyclone in TvT.
Did you see the change that they're proposing, by the way, for the balance PTR stuff?
Which one?
Okay, the silly stuff of the Colossus side of it for the Cyclone, where it basically comes built in with the range upgrade.
The range upgrade.
So the range, like right now, there's no Magfield Accelerator to increase its damage. Oh, Banshee at the main. But there is +2 range for its auto attacks.
I did not see that.
So by the way, this is doing a little bit more than I thought it would. He's having some trouble cleaning it up. Burns one of the scans, and of course, because he had muled before this came, he doesn't have another one ready to go. The engineering bay also got stalled out by this, so the turret's finally coming down, but MarineLorD has totally gotten wrecked by this opening.
It's so much damage. It's actually game-ending damage, unless he can do something on the other side of the map, because he did just send his Hellions over there. Mine goes off. There's really not a lot for ByuN. There's a possibility he trades out with the workers.
The tank should be able to hold this. If it was just Marines, the Hellions would hit and run and beat the Marines. But the tank's going to have that range necessary to push these back. Not even sieging it up. Not wanting to give him the dead space disadvantage. So he kills a couple of workers, but not nearly enough. If this was a situation where ByuN was still on like the one base, right, and he didn't have a command center, MarineLorD can still recover. But it is 2 bases versus 2 bases, and MarineLorD is going for the later cloak.
That's a little weird, but it could be a really good surprise. I would hope that he cancels that missile turret. There's usually only one Banshee nowadays in TvT. Plus, I think he... No, I didn't see the Raven, never mind. But anyways, I'm really surprised that MarineLorD didn't go for Raven first. So, usually it's Viking first from, you know, TvTs of the past. But the Raven can actually, like, KO a Banshee by itself with that new auto turret.
Yeah, that's what he did earlier to clean that Banshee up.
Yeah, so the Viking first just seems like it would always get out of the scan range.
Well, so this is going to be really interesting. MarineLorD can actually totally hold this push, tank included. The Hellions can deal with the Marines. Hell, the auto turret might even deal with the Marines. I don't even know. It's so strong now. The auto turret out of ByuN might be a little bit questionable because he'll have 2, whereas MarineLorD will barely have 1. But I don't think this needs to be game-ending damage if MarineLorD handles this perfectly. Scary though, because it always might just be 7 seconds on that auto turret is 7 seconds. You can't get there to fight these Marines, but ByuN kind of brings them to him.
He did have another one in his back pocket, but it doesn't last very long at all. Does a ton of damage to the command center, however, especially with that tank shelling
It's
away.
getting really low, like dangerously. You better repair it low.
It's gonna die. It is. Oh my god! If he had to lift it, I think that tank shell would have killed it.
That was a game of chicken that didn't need to be played.
Right? Oof, that was very close. But even though ByuN was technically pushed back here, he still has an undeniable lead, up 14 workers, up in army supply even still, and has Sim on the way. Oh yeah.
Well, actually, with the turret being offset like this, that Banshee could have possibly wrapped around the left side and got more kills, but yeah, between the scan, the Marines, and the response, ByuN seems to be pretty okay for it. It's so weird to watch games like this, though, right? Because these are both really amazing Terrans for their region of the world, but this wasn't anything crazy, right? Like, this was ByuN going for a very standard, very expected. You could, like, blindly guess he was going for this build that managed to do so much damage to MarineLorD.
Not the greatest showing from our French Terran so far. I do appreciate the fact that he's going to try and go mech as he did before in the last time we cast him. And I think that mech is actually very good in TvT. I don't think he's getting to that point where it's good, though. He's still on mass Hellions for God's sakes. So.
Yeah. Part of playing mech 2 is getting a lot of Vikings out early usually anyways, and not so much Banshees. He's starting to get the Vikings out now, and the Vikings actually have a pretty critical role to play as far as, air control is one thing, but landing and dealing damage to the tanks, a lot of people keep forgetting that these Vikings do a stupid amount of damage to the ground units.
Yeah, it's funny because as opposed to like Hellion tank beating Marine tank, it would be like Viking tank, Viking Hellion beating tank Marine. Vikings are pretty strong, and the Hellions, they do their job. They clean up the Marines, and the Vikings have to land on those tanks.
SCVs are pulled. They are going to be pretty effective if they take out one of the tanks, 2 of the tanks even. And MarineLorD, I mean, loses 9 more workers. This kind of sucks, but he's holding on.
He is, and he did just take another decent trade. ByuN still holds strong with his numbers.
Yeah, other side of the map, Banshee tries to come in, gets picked off. 3rd CC on the way for ByuN. Over here, MarineLorD's building his in base. I mean, this is going to be a really cool showing of, like, can mech play from behind? Because there's, without a doubt in my mind, MarineLorD playing from behind in every way. Mech was already good in TvT pre-patch. It just got better with the patch.
I certainly think mech was the best thing to play from behind with in the previous expansions, because you could turtle a lot more effectively. Well, so many more minerals.
So, exactly, but that's, for me, and we actually go on that point, the past expansions, before you could pick up tanks to the medevacs and maneuver them, that really changed up how much you could turtle, because positioning was way different. Now you can almost have that aspect back. Like, one tank sieged up on this natural ramp, that's going to be really tough to break. It deals so much damage to the opposing tanks, the Hellions will zone out the Marines. I mean, I'm not saying that MarineLorD's going to hold this, but the potential's always there.
Yeah. It is, of course, a big problem for ByuN not to be going for any Marauders quite yet. He only just added on 2 more tech labs. And that's why the Hellions have been so effective. But there we go.
The Warfield for the 7-month resub. And I just want to point out there at the end, I think if MarineLorD had micro those Hellions differently, instead of just kind of letting them get shot down, that may have looked still a little bit different. Like, if it weren't for the 4 whatever Marines that lived at the end, that wouldn't have been a push that could move up that ramp. The Vikings would have easily landed and killed the tanks.
Yep.
So again, it's cool how different things are now, guys. We're going to see different aspects of TvT. But that first game, I think, very decidedly went to ByuN the second the Banshee got in, and that timing was just the timing, period, the end.
Yeah. I don't know what the veto process is like.
Yeah.
Dear God.
I guess I gotta go update the results page here too, real quick.
We need to see the lobbies, never mind, or the vetoes.
ByuN 1 on MarineLorD. As far as commercial schedule goes today, guys, we'll probably try and play a commercial every 2 or so games, just as a heads up. That first game went by pretty quick though, so I'm not too worried about trying to squeeze it in, even though we've been up for half an hour now. So thanks for watching. Game number 2 is going to be on Echo.
And now we have our favorites Dropcaster here.
Yeah, Emil's joining the cast, so we got that touch of Poland here. But like, he's got a diamond portrait too. Why are the diamond portraits so bright? Here, real quick before we get in game, guys. Look at it's like a flashlight on the portrait. It feels like.
Yeah, the subtle changes. I don't know, Blizzard.
I mean, the animation's cool. I don't remember it being animated in the past. The animation's a cool aspect. Maybe it's been there the whole time, I've never noticed. But it is just so bloody bright. It actually, for me, almost looks better than the Master's portrait, if that's how it's going to glow every time I see it.
You know what? Just Blizzard really likes Rihanna, and they want to shine bright like a diamond.
It's not real. We're pretty good friends, right?
No. Okay, fine, yes.
Oh, I'm so glad you said yes the first time, because the joke was going to be a diamond is a girl's best friend, and I'm diamond.
Oh, I get ya. No, clever.
Again, thanks for saying yes on the first time.
Well, I knew you were gonna, that was supposed to be the response.
I know.
Goal in life is to basically kick you in the nuts at every opportunity.
Have you ever played a game called The Stanley Parable, or heard of it?
I've rid of it.
I think you would love this game. I can't tell you too much about it without spoiling it, but basically it's a game where you'll hear a narrator and you'll be like, Stanley didn't know what to do, so Stanley went left. But there's 2 doors and you can choose to go right instead. I feel like this game would be perfect for you. You absolutely must play it. Hell, I will even buy it for you to stream sometime.
I feel there's more to this. You sound too amused.
There is, but I can't tell you more without spoiling it type thing. You will, I guarantee you will enjoy this game. Like, without a doubt in my mind.
Okay.
Anyways, apparently we missed Haru's sub announcement. 10 months on the resub says, ByuN is using his spiral to power his Terran, and soon it'll be so good the universe will explode. Spiral. Oh man, if that's a Gurren Lagann reference, Haru, you know I love you, girl. But ladies and gentlemen, we are in game number 2 for the Top Dogs round of 8. Spawning in the top left side of Echo, we've got the blue Terran player, ByuN, leading 1-0.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he is MarineLorD.
Okay, so MarineLorD did some, I'm not going to say even like that greedy of a build, but he totally got screwed by the Banshee, and I want to say that is almost because of his build. Like, he had the right, he was going for the Viking, he was going for all the necessary moves that he needed to, but timing ever so slightly not in his favor cost him so many SCVs.
Yeah, certainly there was a couple of things that could have been 1 second difference. The Banshees in the scan range for, like, well, I guess 2 more shots from the Viking, or the engineering bay finishes right when it was supposed to. That could have been a big difference. But I also am really questioning if Viking first is the way to go. I'm not, definitely saying that he did it wrong, but I do wonder if that's, without an auto turret, it's more of a reason to go for Raven first.
So my logic on this is the Viking makes more sense to go for first if you're actually planning to play mech. Like, that may have been a result of him falling behind that he tried to go for it. Okay.
The Raven?
No, mech. But what I'm saying is if you're going
yeah.
mech, you want Vikings, you want Hellions. And this is, I'm talking in the past. I have no idea, like, the iteration of things. Maybe the Raven is better now. The 24 damage auto turret is insane after all. But in the past, if you were going mech, you had Vikings come out early. You had Hellions in larger numbers. That was a composition that you needed to have. So if that was a MarineLorD who definitively was aiming for mech that whole game, the Viking first makes sense, based off of the history of what mech has been in TvT. If it's anything else, like, then maybe it was just him playing reactionary to the situation at hand.
Back in the day, it was that you would almost always get a Raven and a Viking combo, regardless of what you wanted to play, regardless if you went back into Vikings after you got the Raven. My only question is maybe you flip the thing, because the Raven would never kill the Banshee, it would just help the Viking kill the Banshee. But now the Raven can actually literally kill the Banshee by itself with that auto turret. Or pretty close to it, I feel. Like, I'm actually not sure how it works, like acceleration versus the Banshee speed, but whatever.
So every time I've caught a Banshee in TvT so far, with the auto turret, it's killed it. So
oh, okay, there you go.
I'm not sure. Then again, I'm playing Diamond players, right? This isn't Grandmaster Koreans.
Yeah, but that's just, it's literally just a question. I wonder if we'll see, like, a difference in 6 months, or if it really is just, like, people are going to even skyrocket to faster Vikings, because Vikings certainly are becoming more and more important, and if people are going to play mech, then sure, Vikings are even more so important. The Viking is really, like, I don't mind that it's an important unit again, but it makes you feel weird.
Well, what's interesting, for whatever we're discussing right now, I do want to remind you guys, when Legacy of the Void launched, we threw a $2,000 TvT-only tournament, right? And the same meta that we learned in that tournament basically stuck around for the next full year. So there's not a lot of crazy developments in TvT. This would actually be the first time in a long time we see things start changing.
Yeah. So in that way, I kind of like the refreshing new... It's not even like a new meta necessarily. It's not like completely new build orders, but there's differences to everything in TvT now because a couple of units got buffed. One, of course, the medevac doesn't pick up tanks anymore. But anyway, it does look like MarineLorD's going to be going potentially into the mech again. He's already got the Hellion opener. Not going to take any other damage from this Banshee because this turret is good. And you can just wait for the Raven. I wonder, can you... Maybe the problem is that you can't afford a Raven at the time. There's more gas.
Maybe. Thank you, by the way, to Stampede993 for the new sub, as well as Ben Lights for the 10 months. Woohoo! Only 2 months left till I'm a year old. And then you get your Partouf, man, which is even better. Real rewards.
It's like a birthmark, but not on your skin. Oh, wait. They were 4 and they got it.
So the Raven's
I messed that
out.
one up.
This should be pretty easy to clean up. I don't even have to waste energy on that auto turret. It'll cost him a couple more SCVs, but truthfully, MarineLorD has only really been leveled out through this. Yes, he lost 7 workers, and that absolutely sucks, but that was his lead. ByuN has just simply evened out the game. Now, going back on it, it is going to be mech out of MarineLorD, definitively for a second time, so second factory on the way. Reactor coming down on the starport. We'll probably see some more Viking production. Vikings are a really big deal for a lot of reasons that have stuck around in the past. The air control we talk about really is the difference of tanks being able to fire or not, especially with tanks that cannot be inched forward with a medevacs picking up and dropping them. Positioning has become a lot more, I think, of a big deal, and Vikings help secure that.
Yeah. Again, I don't mind that Vikings become like a super important unit again, but it is so weird to keep emphasizing why Vikings should be made.
I'm okay with it because I've really wanted to see something go for the Viking for a while. It's always felt like a lame unit, like a unit that was in a lot of cases like Colossus or in TvT necessary, but you didn't want to make. Now there is like a little bit of a desire to make them. Again, for those who don't know, when they land, they deal 20 damage to mechanical units only, so things like the tanks. They won't deal that much to the Marines, but the tanks are going to annihilate it. However, speaking of annihilation, the Marines get melted here in the middle of the map. Hellion's going to pull back and not deal with the tanks, which is totally fine because he took out all the bio.
ByuN is kind of just repeating the same steps. They're both doing actually very similar things the last game, just without this damage caused by the units they got. So the fact that ByuN did a follow-up push full of Marines against someone who went mass Hellions is questionable. It kind of feels like he was just doing something out of habit. That you should definitely be waiting for Marauders. Which means you don't have a lot of pressure because you need to wait for the tech labs. You need to wait for the barracks to be down and have the tech labs on. But I think that's better than losing 15 Marines. Can't necessarily drop either though, because you know they're going to get Vikings. And that will mean MarineLorD gets to a 3rd base fairly easily.
Yeah, but on Echo, 3 bases is not so crazy. It's really going to be about 4ths and 5ths and advancing beyond that point. Especially once siege tank lines start getting drawn. Now it is worth noting MarineLorD's a little bit supply blocked. That sucks because this is specifically as he starts building tanks. Like, Hellions are great. Sure, you got a lot of them, but you need tanks. And, oh, these Hellions are going to be in a very fickle situation. They either dive forward and annihilate MarineLorD because he's only going to be able to make Marines to defend with, or he's got to pull back real quick. The barracks will see this coming, but will he see it coming soon enough?
Well, he reacts very quickly with the Hellions. And there are Vikings in position. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess they would have killed one entire medevac. Well, that successfully got the Hellions away from the ramp and away from kiting, as ByuN is supposed to move out in the map. So ByuN can find maybe a decent position somewhere to hole up, maybe on the top of MarineLorD's ramp. But now we have medevacs on the way. I wonder if MarineLorD will get any more than just the 2, or if it is just going to be for a couple of Hellbat drops. He does also have Blue Flame. Blue Flame.
Yeah, Blue Flame will really help melt these Marines up, dealing, what is that, 19 damage a shot. Of course, Splash is a bit too, but all these things aside, it's still going to come down to trying to break tank lines, and MarineLorD doesn't need to have a lot of tanks set up, just enough to keep ByuN back. I mean, ByuN taking any amount of damage on his Marines from even one tank shot is bad enough. You pair that with a Blue Flame, I mean, we've seen it before in regular TvT when it's Marine tank versus Marine tank. Once tanks have nothing to guard for them, they go down pretty quickly.
Yep. I guess Breaking on the Rocks is good. Something to do with your Hellions. Yeah. The Vikings are getting quite high in number.
So another aspect to this that I'm curious to see what that Raven's going to do. There's no reason to point defense drone, but it might stop the Marauder damage. The auto turret's obviously good just for their own damage and the fact that they'll soak hits, but then curiosity comes in. Will Seeker missiles maybe launch out some of these tanks? Either way, he's going to go for the break. The Hellbats are made out of the Hellions, so they're going to be able to tank those front lines. As he pushes in, auto turrets come down, point defense drone as well, and he's going to try and break the ByuN, and it looks like he's going to break him in half.
Oh, the Hellbats are starting to go down, though.
That's true, but the Vikings
Liberator
take out
ends up
so much
being
of the
kind of
air, the
disabled.
bio can't keep pushing without the medevac support.
Yeah, that's certainly true. It ends up being a better trade for ByuN than I thought it was, though, for him to be the aggressor there. And MarineLorD is kind of not quite resetting from 0, but he did lose the tank count that he was trying to grow, and all of his Hellbats, so
Yeah.
that's a lot.
I was actually surprised to see them all made into Hellbats. We've actually been seeing in the past, you usually keep at least 2 or 3 Hellions in the back because they've got the extra range. Hellbats, tanky as good as they may be, they also have to like waddle forward slowly.
Yeah, for sure, and you saw ByuN's micro really highlighted there too. Because if you do the same thing, if you try and break the Terran right there with your bio and you don't kite and at all, the Hellbats actually just make it such a better trade for MarineLorD.
This is where the mobility of those medevacs really helps out. So he's got medevacs, which look a bit weird because like as a mech player, why would you want them? But being able to drag and drop blue flame Hellbats on top of Marines, oh, you've never seen Marines die faster until you see that happen.
Yeah. I do wonder if ByuN's going to try and win the air war. He's starting to get a couple of Vikings. That could just be a response to he saw the Liberators and he's like, I need something. But one of the ways you can get a leg up, whatever, is to surprise the person going for Vikings, and that's a mech player usually. It can also be another bio player, because they stop, at 5 or 7. They think they have control, and then suddenly, bam, you've been hoarding 9 or 10. And then you go to Liberators after that, and it's actually a big headache for the mech player to deal with. I think I'm going to switch over to Thors if that is the case. But it looks like it was just to deal with the Liberators. Back into mostly Marauder production. But ByuN did also get a second factory. I wonder why, because he's not that tank heavy himself. He's planning on being more tank heavy?
I don't know, but that's really annoying. There's like one pixel that tank was making it look like I had a dead pixel on my monitor. Okay, so sieging up over here, it's going to be really tough to actually push in through the south, but this does leave openings to the north. And of course for ByuN, while his medevac count may not be really high, it's still dangerous if drops start going off. Looks like this Widowmine just got the hell of a hit of its life though, hit everything here stacked up. So, a bit of damage on just about every unit. Medevac almost dead too. As ByuN decides to push around the sides, I guess I didn't realize but the Raven died in that first engagement too, so there's no more point defense drone, which is a really great mechanism to stop Marauder damage.
Yep. Might have been worth... Well, if it goes to the air war and they get 2nd and 3rd starports, probably worth adding on more Ravens.
I think so too, but that's also just because Ravens are really freaking good anyways.
Yeah. Well, ByuN is just looking for ways to catch MarineLorD out of position. The 3rd base is a decent point, and Echo does start to really spread anyone apart. But MarineLorD's on top of it with double sensor towers. There is the tiniest bit of an area where ByuN could get a Doom drop into the main via the far south. I don't know if you're going to be trying that. The problem, of course, when you know they have this many Vikings is you're not going to be flying medevacs, even if you're pretty sure they don't know you're doing it.
Well, after the 500 plus times people have asked in chat, just reaffirming that the blue Terran player is in fact ByuN, guys, and I guess I'll add something to the overlay. I feel like, though, we've been casting ByuN rather consistently for over a year now, and his name's always been Speak Now off the Korean server, so congrats on being casual StarCraft fans, I guess.
Casuals. No, I actually... It's no longer a case where I have to remember who I'm looking at. It's just like, speak now. ByuN.
It's
same
ByuN.
words to me. Same words.
Yeah. Same, but different. Like a James Franco gift. This command center lifting might not actually be better for it, as the Vikings are here in pretty high number. So he's going to be able to kill this 4th base out of ByuN, but the problem is this worth the trade? Because now ByuN's on the other side of the map looking to push in and kill MarineLorD's 4th and 3rd.
MarineLorD actually has a really good defensive setup. He not only has tanks, he also has a bit
turrets.
of SimCity with the missile turrets.
Well, I don't know about SimCity for that, but I will keep the 2 medevacs back. And again, beyond playing Bio, you need medevacs to some degree. This army cannot freely stim for mobility like it normally can. Tanks are going to catch me on the left side. Thank God for that scanner. You would have never seen this army coming. And ByuN almost just got slaughtered.
ByuN has found himself in a very difficult position. And that position is late game Bio versus mech.
Yeah, actually, we've talked about this so many times, and I don't think this changed at all in the patch, though. Mech is so strong, but its greatest weakness is getting to the point where it's maxed out. MarineLorD's maxed out. He's getting another Raven, too. I really like the addition of another Raven.
I 100% think this is the better army. I don't think that's something that anyone can argue, honestly. The argument is, can the Bio player outmaneuver and outproduce and economy the mech player?
ByuN's also building 3 command centers behind this. I'll talk more on that in a moment, but the concern I really have is that his medevac count is so low, there is no real chance to maneuver, right? Picking up these 4 medevacs and going on the outskirts of the map to drop MarineLorD, it's unlikely. as he does this, it's a huge risk factor because now he's nothing to actually defend back at home. These units can't stim into that fight. Tanks are here. Medevacs are ready to drag and drop too. This planet, it's not even a planetary, it's just a regular command center. It's gonna go down. Well, actually, he looks like there's no Vikings over here. They went south instead. I guess.
Right?
I guess he saw the medevacs. So no, he didn't.
No,
I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know what they're looking for. A couple missile turrets, but the weak medevacs were on the back. Still enough to damage to get most of them anyway.
Yeah. This Raven's gonna try and be a hero. It's not gonna work.
This is gonna be some good damage, and it does pull all of MarineLorD back.
It's good damage, but he also did good damage to ByuN too, because on the same side, he pushed off that base. ByuN's still sitting at 3 bases himself and has no means to push into these tanks whatsoever. The army takes a little while to get back home, but it's finally here. Try and drop those Hellbats.
He's gonna see that there's multiple starports. Yeah, his army does get obliterated, and he only killed a command center, a handful of SCVs. When they're both making so many command centers, I don't think it really quite matters. ByuN hasn't saved his 4th base yet, though. Probably put that back, or better yet, take like a hidden base, because he has 2 other orbitals to take.
I mean, so that's the thing. I was just talking about, like, ByuN building 3 extra command centers is great because he needs to expand and move out and all this other stuff, but if he keeps losing them, it's not worth it at all. MarineLorD's building these extra command centers just because he can. Like, what are you going to do with 1,200 minerals when you're maxed out? Well, get an orbital or 3. Like, it's totally fine.
He's going to lose this. Oh, Vikings. You would shoot it once and it would
Well,
die.
it might still burn. There's nothing close by to repair it. Base on the right side is not a planetary fortress, so MarineLorD might just be subject to a small loss over here. And looks like that base is going to burn. There's an SCV right there. Oh, goes down. He might try and justify it because he did, kill a base over here on this side, but the Ravens need to get some action. No auto turrets coming down. Medevacs get slaughtered. The Hellbats trap in the Marauders. Nice catch out of MarineLorD. Marauders are still going to escape, but barely alive. Bottom side of the map, the command center gets pushed off, and the tanks are going to hold on, and MarineLorD continues to expand here in the bottom left.
So, but ByuN doesn't actually have any medevacs. If MarineLorD pushed, he would win. I was a little concerned that MarineLorD wouldn't want to push because he's trying to transition to mass air, which I don't know. He doesn't have to do, first of all, but also could be a problem if ByuN's able to restabilize within the economy. So far, that's not happening. However, he still doesn't have a full base.
This is so cool to me, though, because on one hand, it's like, okay, MarineLorD got so manhandled in Game 1, it looked bad for him. But then Game 2 comes back extra strong, and he does it with mech. Again, something we're seeing players experiment with, but not a lot of people dedicate to. So already I'm pretty happy with this TvT, and it is only the 2nd game in a best of 5 for this round of 8s.
Yeah. ByuN is, like, if he'd been doing this the entire time, he would probably be winning, but he's really only getting some damage done at a pretty late point, and he's sacrificing all his army for it instead of being able to punish it.
It was a desperate push. GG. MarineLorD takes the game, ties it up now 2-2. And as said before, guys, we're going to quickly go to a commercial break, so we'll see you soon for Game 3. Alright guys, we're technically back. Just going to the results screen real quick. So, 1-1 for ByuN versus MarineLorD. The order of games today is a little bit out of order. Again, I was told it was basically the order in which I'm showing you now is the order in which I thought we were playing games today, but that's still okay. You guys can figure it out from there. Yeah, this is the O Gaming tournament for the International Top Dogs. We're in the round of 8. Here we go. Here's our lovely faces back again. Earlier, someone was asking, why is Zombie Grub in Korea? Why is she in a PC cafe?
Because I want to be.
There you go.
No, that's, I mean, that's actually, like, most of it. Doing some stuff. Super secret stuff.
Super secret, awesome stuff on the side. I mean, it worked out nicely. Zombie Grub, for those who know her well enough, know she's a big fan of Korea and everything. And living there, of course, is the ultimate dream. We were lucky enough to have a reason to go to Korea with the Alima League finals. And then for her, it's just a matter of staying a little bit extra time. I say a little bit, but it's like a month, 5 weeks, whatever.
It's like a month. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about a month and I thought about my apartment, right? Good news. I broke my chair.
Oh, wasn't it like kind of a terrible chair in the first place?
It was. I probably should have bought one anyway. The lever doesn't work. There's no padding.
That's how they get you. They're like, we'll get the foreign girl to buy a new chair. She's going to be here for a while. She'll need a new chair. Give her a crappy one so it breaks on her. Like, check to see if they sawed it out a little bit,
What happened was I was reaching to grab something, and I guess there's like 3 parts to a chair, which I've never looked, like in the cushions to like realize what's happening. I guess there's like this the central part, and then there's like the actual armrest kind of like hinge onto it. So I broke the hinge of one of the armrests. It's not that bad. I can still sit in it, but it's definitely broken, and I have to find out how to get a new one. I'm also like not 100% sure how this things go, because I think, jokes aside, I actually legitimately think that it might just be you break it, you buy it, and you buy your own. You know, like I don't think giving them $50 to buy me another crappy office chair, they're gonna go get me one.
Well, I remember No Regret. I think it was like one of his first vlogs, maybe it was the second one in Korea. He took everyone to like the market where they sold a lot of that sort of stuff. So I'm sure you can find something easily.
Oh yeah, I'm not too worried about like not being able to find a chair, but I do have to go to said market and then bring either a huge package or roll a chair through the subway. Which is gonna be great.
I didn't have any problems bringing my big package to the subway every time I took it.
Oh, I knew that was coming. Oh, your luggage was quite, you know.
Actually, no, my luggage was fine. My backpack was heavy as F, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, it was. I can't believe you do that to yourself. Good
Dude,
God.
That's how I get strong. Just lug around a massively heavy backpack. Like seriously, I'm gonna load this thing up and weigh. I'm curious how much it actually weighed. I gotta say, it had to be like 50 pounds at least. Maybe not 50, more like 40, but still, the backpack's not fun to slug around. Anyways, welcome back to the round of 8 for the Top Dogs tournament, guys. I'm gonna add ByuN to the overlay now to help those of you who can't do the figuring out who this player is.
ByuN handicapped. Bunny capped.
It's ByuN decapped.
There you go.
See, the reason I hate doing this is because like the players will usually swap positions regularly, and I have to always update it. Ugh. Anyways, he drops some poop in chat, spawning here in the bottom left side of the map. I guess it's feelings on mech. It's gonna be the blue Terran player ByuN.
In the top right, as the red Terran, he's MarineLorD.
I really liked seeing mech. I really liked seeing mech work. I'm hoping to see more of it in the series.
I think that's the way MarineLorD is gonna be playing for the next couple of weeks, maybe? Which I don't mind at all. Like, there's gonna be people that experiment and people that don't. Some games work out better for both types. And it's gonna settle soon. Because MarineLorD isn't always a mech player. It's not like he was a mech player through and through and was forced to play Bio and Legacy of the Void.
No, I mean, like, I'm just thinking on it, right? You had Beastie for a little while, you had Major following suit, and then MarineLorD was trying mech for a little bit in TvT only at the end of it. So, like, mech really wasn't a common build, strategy, or usage.
Yeah. I hesitate to call it a phase, because maybe MarineLorD will really like mech so much more. But I think right now it is just more of an experiment than it is. I think he's just trying to perfect it. I think he actually sees merit in perfecting mech, because that might be the future, basically. But we'll see if he actually sticks with it. It's fun to see a difference, though. And ByuN, I guess on the flip side, is not very experimental and does what he does as long as it's has any use whatsoever. If the Reaper suddenly does no damage, then I guess ByuN will stop opening up with a Reaper.
Well, you say that, but that's been ByuN. With Reaper, specifically.
It's true.
Of course, that's a joke, usually against Zerg. His Terran Reaper controls him pretty good when he goes for the 2 Reaper Hellion pushes, but a little bit of a scuffle on the ramp. Always favor the high ground player, so MarineLorD's going to back away, but so will ByuN. I love, like, I really wish there was a better way to nickname it, but seriously, Reaper versus Reaper in the early game is the Star Wars Han versus Greedo situation. Who shot first? That sort of deal can make the biggest impact on the game, honestly.
I guess it is the best phrase you can use for it. I guess Ling Wars have knife fights, which is, you know, not as big as a phrase, but who shot first? Okay, so what? You save the SCV, wait for the orbital to finish, the Hellion's on the way out. Not too big of a deal for MarineLorD here. They both are opening pretty much the same way. Just want to mention that. It seems to be they like their builds.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm sorry guys, we've been missing shoutouts here. Twitch alerts have been really funky. It's been double shouting out, then not shouting out. Either way, I am Dark Minion sub for 12 months, and he spammed the Ace P emote because, yeah, he just qualified for a Partoof So send us a message here on the channel, a direct message to Twitch, BaseTradeTV, and we'll send you guys a form to fill out when you hit your 12-month mark that will give us your address so we can mail you the coin and all that. Dehumanizer as well, just subbed for the 10 months, says, "Woo, I was worried I lost my status. Love, Ace 1, Ace 2, Base Trade."
Nice. So I briefly looked at Twitter, saw an image, and just thought, Team Expert knows what it's doing. It has a picture of Bly petting a dog. Like, you know how like they have calendars?
Wait, back up. What are we talking about?
Team Expert just tweeted a picture of Bly petting a dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I like looked at Twitter, and I was like, you know, they have those calendars like hot men with dogs with like puppies.
Go on.
I feel like he belongs on one of those calendars. They know what's up. Anyway, the Banshee goes down. I really love, by the way, like Bly actually knows, I guess his reputation as being very good looking. Seems to take it in stride. I love that he does that.
That is a pretty good picture. Sorry, I had to tap out and go look. The poor dog though is looking like, why am I here?
Yeah, it
It's
looks
like
like a
he
dog.
looks like he's contemplating life as a dog.
It's like I'm not nearly as good looking as a human. It's not supposed to be the way now.
I somehow don't feel like the dog is that superficial.
It's not superficial. Well, dogs are known for being superficial. They only like good-looking people. Right? Anyway.
I'll let you just flounder with that one a little bit on your own. I've got...
Nope, that's how you end any story that's being really lame. You just go, right? Anyway.
Right?
And then you
Anyway.
continue on. Yeah.
So the Banshees for ByuN really didn't get to do really anything. It's funny, it's like the progression of the Banshee. Game 1 was amazing. Game 2 was like so-so, and now Game 3 is just nothing. Like, really nothing. So, we're still gonna, I still think, see ByuN go Banshees in almost every single game. They have a role, and they have a small risk factor to them, but they can really pay off big time when they actually do work. I guess... Thoughts, though, while we've seen Liberators be a big part of it, Banshees for later are going to be really great at helping push back tank lines, ideally, if you don't have enough tanks of your own in that sort of situation, but it's going to be only 1 or 2 shots with MarineLorD going so heavy on Vikings the way he has been.
He's not a has-been. It's mean. Well...
Oh, because that's what he has been doing. Got it.
Yeah, you got it. Oh, by the way, so you know I always make fun of you for saying bagel? Bagel?
No, I've never heard you do that. I thought we were good
okay.
friends who would never make fun of each other. Go on.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If you're good friends, you're supposed to make fun of each other.
I know,
Anyway.
it's like the better friends I am with somebody, the worse I treat them is actually my relationship with people.
Yeah, exactly. It's how you show your love. So, can you say bag?
Yes.
I think you say it correctly. It's not so much a trick as it is like so I can use it against other people.
Like we're talking like a plastic bag, like what you carry
yes.
things
Okay,
in?
you said it the way that I thought you did, which is, in my opinion, the correct way. So it's so funny. I was talking to 2 other Canadians today, right? Sasha or Scarlett and Noah Grit, and they say bag, and I'm like, say bagel, and they say bagel. Fine. You guys reversed your bags.
The polarities are all mixed up.
I don't understand.
Well, I mean, you gotta
Canadians should all be universal.
You gotta put the bagel in a bag to bring it home. Unless you gotta beg for a bag to get the bagel. You gotta beg you for a bag to put the bagel in.
Oh god. I just like the only thing I know about Canada is that you have 2 accents apparently. One like the regular Canadian accent and then like the Newfies or whatever, right?
What if you're on webcam and you have to beg for a bagel on Omegle?
You just blew my mind right there. I'm not sure which one you said wrong, which one you said right. Oh god.
Right. Big scam, by the way, out of MarineLorD. He sees everything here, but he more importantly sees no medevacs with this. So there's going to be some alarms raised. Now, ByuN has not gone medevacs this game. This is actually a pretty important note to make. He's looking to match Viking production. Now, Bio and Tank can play, don't get me wrong, but they still do need medevac support. But ByuN throws on another factory. He's still playing Bio, but he's just going to have a little bit of extra tank production.
Yeah, I mean, he played a different game this time, not in composition or necessarily build, but in style. He did not go aggressive with any pushes that lost Marines very unnecessarily, and as such, he has a much bigger army a little bit later.
By the way, gotta give some big thanks to Riamar for the 1,500 bits he just cheered for. Says hi. Hello, Riamar.
Hello.
But okay, whether you like mech, hate mech, or just undecided, we're going to see a little bit more of that action come in. Now, the Blue Flame Hellions should be able to melt a lot of the Marines, but MarineLorD's in a very awkward spot. He wanted to control the Watchtower. He wanted to not have to worry about that air vision and air superiority. But my question still begs, has he seen and realized what ByuN's doing yet? It's not like he's going to give up on Viking production. It's not like he's going to stop Vikings, but he is integrating medevacs now for his Hellbats, and if he starts focusing too much on that, ByuN might actually gain air control. I mean, ByuN has a lot of Vikings, up to 10 now.
It's a different way to play Bio, but this is something we would see back when Bio versus Mech was kind of a common thing. There was a ton of different responses. You could either go Mass Bio, which ByuN's been doing. This worked once, not the other time. Oh, actually, a Kite goes down. Blue Flame Hellions still beat up the Marines and the Marauders in here, but the Air War should be going in favor of ByuN.
Yeah.
But what is that actually...
I love that he landed the Vikings to keep them alive. That was actually a really clever move out of MarineLorD just now. But the problem is with no means to shoot up, he's going for Thors.
Yeah, like, so, okay. The issue kind of right there is like, okay, what then? Like, yes, Vikings landed you more damage, but there's too much mech on the ground still for him to do that. So you're going to control the air for a little while, but you needed to immediately follow up with those Liberators, because now Liberators would be like killing one tank at a time. By the time Liberators are out, there's going to be Thors, and Thors are now a decent answer to the, oh, I won the air war problem that used to exist.
Well, the problem is, though, Vikings actually do beat out Thors on the ground now, and they're wrecking the add-ons. Oh my god, Vikings are the sickest add-on snipers of all time! They're going to kill that Thor if they wanted to, but instead he picks up the fly and keep him alive. ByuN, you monster. Now, it's worth noting, Thors are not so great in their splash mode, but they are really good in their transformation mode. They don't spawn in transformation mode, though, so it didn't work out so good. Neither do these tanks on this side. Marines just stim on top of them, pick several of them off before getting cleaned up.
As I was saying before, everything like went down, basically. You go Mass Bio, ByuN did that. It didn't work once, it worked another time. You can go for very fast into your own air war, which he kind of did with the Vikings. Usually, once you've gone for air war, it's like air war, you don't really even worry that much about Bio on the ground. But he's doing something that's even like more different, which is, yes, getting that Viking control early on, and he successfully got it, but then only going for Marines for 12 minutes against a mech player. I still don't think that's what you're supposed to do. I don't want to, be like, ByuN, what are you doing? But I'm kind of like, ByuN, what's with the Mass Marine?
You're going to hate me for this, but I got to bring up the bagel thing again. Are you ready? Okay, what if you're on a webcam feeling regal, or, nope, damn it, I mixed up.
Oh, you fucked it up, man.
I was going to say regal, but... What if you're on a webcam feeling regal to beg for a bag for a bagel, while on Omegle, what if your name is Smiggle? The bags is mine.
It's pretty good. I also like this suggestion in chat. You always end a bad story with, and then I found $5 in the street randomly, man. It was the greatest day of my life.
Turns out to be amazing. Thank you for the cheers, taco stuff. Tanks set up here for the defensive line are going to be difficult to break. Keep in mind, once more for ByuN, he's using his Marines not in terms of the normal way you would play Bio. There's no medevacs. He's not looking for sustainability. He's using them as cheap cannon fodder, basically, which is not a bad way to use them. But this is where the Liberators become really important in the game. Now, Thors can push off Liberators, guys. Look at that range.
MarineLorD wasn't entirely sieged up with some of the tanks in the back, and that will cost him his army and probably the game.
Well, yeah, I'd say the game, because the Thors were the only thing here really to break this. I mean, yeah, maybe the Viking pushes it back, but there's so many Vikings out of ByuN, it should never happen. It's round 2 going through the middle, and this is where that cheap factor comes in. GG.
Such an interesting way to play it. Mass Marine, Viking control, which a more important part we didn't really get to highlight in that game was all behind all of that. He was like out expanding MarineLorD drastically.
Well, okay, yeah, there's the macro aspect of it, but I was just surprised to see Bio work at any degree without medevac support. Like, I don't actually know, ByuN, did he make a single medevac that game? I don't think so.
I don't know, but it was a very, I want to say, unique way to play, mostly because it was mostly Marines up until that point. Like, if you win the Viking war and you go back into Bio, that's not surprising. If you win the Viking war and continue going into Air War, not surprising. If you don't go for the Air War at all and just go complete Bio, not surprising. But the mixture of Vikings and pure Marine actually ended up working out, and I I don't know if I'd be able to replicate that.
I don't think so either, because part of that too is for ByuN. Actually, I'll go update the score here real quick. He was still doing split tactics without drops. Like, he was actively having Marines moving through the middle of the map. He knew where he was going to hit next after the current place he was setting up to attack. Like, just generally speaking, some really cool, clever things.
Yeah.
People saying they thought it was going to be a solo cast. Yeah, so it was planned to be a solo cast today. For Zombie Grub and myself, we have a lot to do. And in some cases, we're going to be trading off days where, like, she might cast the Korean thing solo and I'll cast the European thing solo, so that we both don't die trying to double cast an entire day. And that was kind of the plans for today. But Zombie Grub was really awesome and being a trooper and said she'd come join me for this cast. So I'm quite happy to have a partner rather than have to solo.
Oh, thanks.
But okay, lobby is up for Vanai Research Station. Game number 4 coming up. This could be a deciding factor.
Jeez. Yeah, research station with mech. Some swarm hosts in here.
I think this one's going to be harder to play mech on. And a lot of it has to do with the length of the map. But I'll talk more on that in a moment. Let's hop into game. Quick shout out to thank you.
Intro.
Right? Oh, I could probably dig that up. I think this was the era where we started using the copyright-free music. I guess for those who don't know, a little bit of BaseTradeTV history. We used to do map intros for everything, and I guess it's got a little bit complacent this year with them. However, I gotta move ByuN's name around. A big part of that was once we got partnered on Twitch, we started being able to afford to license music, you know, and do things legally and properly. And I think this was right around that time where we started doing all those things by the books, so to speak. Anyways, folks, we are in game number 4. This could determine everything. If he wins this game, it'll be all over. In the top central spawn location, we do have ByuN.
In the bottom location, as the Red Terran, he is MarineLorD.
Okay, what do you think, Zombie Grub? It's mech on this map. I've got my thoughts, but I want to hear yours first. Or if it's mech, I should say, excuse me.
Yeah, I guess it's still an if. I mean, I still think MarineLorD's going to try and do it, just because a lot of these maps still give you 3 bases fairly easily, even if the 4th's a little bit questionable, which is a lot more important, like you see the Void, but I think it's a decent mech map. The only problem is, again, that stage where you don't have excess minerals and enough production to quite cover all your bases, but once you do, once you're on 3 bases, tanks at the front of your 3rd, and a missile turret ring at your natural, and it's really hard for the bio player to break you.
Well, so going back on that last game, like, let's assume that's the way to go. Like, what ByuN did with the mass marine Viking tank combination, no medevacs intended. Let's assume that's the way to go. Then you're not going to have that normal conventional way to play this out where you're building missile turrets or worrying about any of that, because it won't be drops. It'll be like these weird walk bys. And I guess on that note too, it is a pretty, like, if your main's compromised or your natural's compromised, everything's pretty much compromised. So for ByuN, the all or nothing approach may not be so easy to pull off. On Overgrowth specifically, your natural and your 3rd tear you apart. Not so much here on Vanai.
Yeah. It's a pretty unwalkable, like, map, because you do have that little gap between the natural and the rest of the map, basically, and the main is only access point. That's why missile rings are so good, but you brought up the point of, like, length of the map, and I guess you're going to talk about maybe, like, the pushing power.
Well, it's not just that, but, like, let's assume this is even 4 bases, right? So they're pushing out to, like, the middle parts of the map. Suddenly the map length, like, north to south doesn't seem so bad, but it is pretty wide left to right with a lot of very open space. Watchtower on the right side, too, takes up half the map. Suddenly it's very difficult to sneak around. So I think initially the length of the map here is pretty fantastic to keep a slow-paced player back, but when the game gets to like 4 bases and onwards, that's not going to be the case anymore. The map gap closes pretty quickly, and unfortunately, while it's kind of cool to think like, oh, I only lost my 4th, so I'll fall back to my 3rd, usually at that point into TvT, it's going so badly that you're going to lose your 3rd quickly afterwards too, and then your main and production get compromised and it's all over.
We have a very different build from ByuN. So MarineLorD going for the same thing is probably going to be mech again. So it's valid that we're talking about it. But ByuN opens up very differently. I mean, the Widow Mine, the Raven, accidentally making a reactor. don't know what that was about. I don't quite know what he's gonna do with this. Auto turret harassment is good, but it's not like severe damage dealing that it, maybe a medevac drop or a tank drop could be. So it just feels like entirely defensive, yet it was off of one base, which is one base is defensive. It's overly defensive.
Just thinking on it, the auto turret got that big change then, because before it took 3 shots to kill an SCV, now it only takes 2.
It does murder SCVs. I'm not like underestimating the power of this as a harassment tool. I'm just wondering why you would go for a one base slight harassment at best, because you just pull the SCVs away from it.
Well, that's very true too, but I had not considered how much stronger the auto turret got in that one particular regard. As cool as auto turret harass is, and it's like usually I think one of the more things you think about first, it really, to me, you say auto turret, if I got my eyes shut, I'm thinking about like, oh, you're soaking tank shots. You're not using it for harass.
We did see a lot of auto turret harassment in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah.
I remember.
Heart of the Swarm is also a lot slower paced though, so that may have had a lot to do with it. I'm not sure. I like the idea of it though, if ByuN's going to go for it. I think he's anticipating a Banshee, however.
It does seem like a purely defensive build, but it was it a factory expand? Maybe I missed that part. I was talking about theory instead of what was actually happening. Because if you go for a one base build and it's purely defensive, then it's super questionable. But okay, this might actually make more sense. I remember this push. I remember this drop. ByuN's been doing the 2 medevac, 2 tank drop, but there was a little addition that people were, sprinkling in where you would get a Raven and you would be able to ensure that it dropped. People were experimenting with it versus Protoss, though, not versus Terran. So I don't know. He does pick up the 2 tanks. There you go. That was the little new addition to his usual drop. And this is going to be... The 2 tanks, the Marines, it can be deadly, but especially when it's covered by the auto turrets. If MarineLorD's not ready for this, I think he just dies.
No, he's moving out, which is going to really hurt him. He sees an opening to stop a third, and that's almost bait at this point, I'd say. But at the same time, ByuN does not have a full off in his main, so we'll see how this goes. It depends who's distracted, who's paying attention to what. 2 tanks set up really nicely with this classic style drop. Viking and the Raven fight's going to be a little bit awkward. The Raven does go down for ByuN, so he's going to lose that air control. But he does completely push back the natural. No wall off in the main, though. Tank tries to hold this up. Hellion's going to try and run right into this base, and Hellions are a lot more dangerous.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. There's nothing coming out right now for ByuN. Like, the Vikings will be able to land and do something, but it can't chase the Hellions.
No.
Oh, God.
He should be able to get a lot of SCV kills off this, but the problem is, ByuN's, okay, actually, now he's just pulled them in a fight, so they're going to get slaughtered. Both players losing a lot of workers in this. That one Viking doing work. Again, 20 damage a shot, but the Hellions are going to dish damage out to it. He puts up a pseudo wall to try and keep the Hellions out, but he doesn't raise the depot. And it's not even a full wall off either.
Oh. Okay, never mind then.
This is bad. This is really bad for ByuN. I mean, this looked like he was going to have the upper hand with that attack, but Blue Flame kicks in too, so he's going to kill the SCVs even faster. Oh, God.
ByuN is the one that loses here. He actually picked up to go home, and I think that's absolutely... Well, it's not necessarily the wrong move, because I don't think he can break MarineLorD.
That's not a wall off.
He
can
had
go.
to break MarineLorD.
I don't think MarineLorD realizes that's not a wall off.
Oh, he held position a SCV. This is so bad. Oh, I can't believe that it's actually turned away like this.
And MarineLorD kept that command center left. It floated. He lost SCVs, but he kept the command center left. Now that there's Hellions, his Vikings, he's got this. ByuN just lost game 4. I feel if ByuN can recover off of 7 workers like this, ByuN is... He's a good player. We already know this, but he ascends to like literal god status.
Yeah, right. I cannot believe how twisty-turvy, because generally when we think about Hellion...
Okay, we're back, but only very briefly. We got the countdown going. You guys can probably hear that. So quick glimpse at our faces. Hello! And then into the game. Alright, so if you guys are just joining us, things are tied up 2-2. ByuN just lost that last game.
So a little bewildered by that.
I am too, because that was I don't even feel necessarily a whole lot his fault. Like, okay, in regards to not having the full wall off, that game was entirely on ByuN. That being said, though, that was not him reacting to seeing MarineLorD move out. That was not MarineLorD reacting to him move out. That was both of them kind of just going all in, and obviously it worked out better for one than the other. Very risky move to make.
Yes, it was.
Before we get into the intros for this game, though, I would like to quickly thank Blue Fanks for the sub, BMW Nick for the 2-month sub, and then Justin Bob for the cheers alongside taco stuff. Thank you guys so much. Game number 5, though, in the bottom left side of the map, it's the blue Terran player, ByuN.
In the top right, as the red Terran, he is MarineLorD.
And of course, MarineLorD's no newcomer to these Top Dogs events. He actually plays quite a bit for the Underdog League, as well as just generally anything OGaming throws. So for him, okay, if he loses here, if he doesn't make it to the round, like if he doesn't make it through the round of 8 to the semifinals, he will be back. Don't you guys worry. But it's cool to see ByuN doing this because, again, international Top Dogs, usually it's a French-only tournament. They recently opened and extended it to like French Canadians, I believe, but outside of that, it has been a French-only tournament. So seeing some of the outsiders participating today is already really cool. Seeing ByuN do well is one thing, but seeing MarineLorD go toe-to-toe with them is even cooler, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Really highlighting the potential of a lot of things. I mean, the French players, foreigners, and mech, which is pretty cool.
Quick reminder, by the way, of the other matchups following this today, because we do have 4 best-of-5s in total, and this is only the first one. We got Euthermal versus Wellmu, Elazer versus Nurchio, and TLO versus Kelazur, all slated to still play out.
So it kind of looks like ByuN's planning a proxy starport, which would be not totally out of character, but interesting. Yeah, let's see. It's just waiting for the factory to finish.
I mean,
MarineLorD's scouting for something.
It is very characteristic of ByuN to do this, but I think more to the point, this goes back to game 1, where the Banshee timing for a regular Banshee really screwed up MarineLorD with his build, who has been doing similar builds every game, Command Center into the follow-up. The proxy starport on this map used to be really common, and I think a lot of people used to know to look for it. MarineLorD's not going to know to do that, and ByuN might just get away with this proxy Banshee, which timing-wise should be just as good as that first one in game 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, you can sometimes just, you know, you don't scout, you don't send the Reaper, and you don't scan, but you just get an engineering bay around the time that a Banshee could come in. Terrans are very good at doing that, especially when Banshees are very popular, but proxy is a whole other issue. And MarineLorD, he never actually got across the map, so he doesn't even know that it's a one-base build.
There's 3 Reapers, 2 Hellions. The Banshee is already dangerous, but this push, I would say, is more dangerous than the Banshee.
I'm surprised he didn't go Banshee. I was with you on that one.
Yeah.
Oh well. Either way, it's going to be some damage done. Just the Banshee probably could have helped out more with the main army and really snowballed.
Regardless, though, it kind of already is snowballing. It's 2 more Hellions spawn just in the nick of time. That actually works out a little bit decently here for MarineLorD, but unfortunately, there is no anti-air currently. Nothing to stop this Liberator from denying mining for the full, however long it takes a Viking to build. Was it like 40 seconds? 30 seconds.
Around this time, you're thinking, wow, they just attacked me, but they're probably following up with the starport. But, you know, you're thinking if the unit comes in, okay, you know, that's proxied.
By the way, it's insanely important that MarineLorD was able to stabilize off this, because if any of those Hellions had lived, they would have roasted all the SCVs that transferred over. It was so very important that he dealt with that. But the Liberator's giving chase, the Viking comes out in a moment, and this should finally be dealt with. ByuN's still going for Banshees, by the way. Just took a little bit longer to get here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, you know what, though? This is kind of sick. The Liberator's drive, he spent so much time running around with the SCVs, he may be incentivized to mule to make up for the losses. If he does that, he's not going to have a scan. But he knows there was a proxy starport of some variety, so I hope MarineLorD's smart enough to keep at least 1 scan in this command center.
Yeah, he is. And he's getting a Raven. I don't think this follow-up Banshee's going to be doing nearly as much damage as ByuN was hoping for. Now, I can kind of see why ByuN would do something other than a proxy, Banshee in particular, because I feel like MarineLorD really should have scouted something was up. His Reaper is supposed to go in there and see the lack of a command center and probably be prepared, so the Liberator would have been a surprise, but I still am really wondering about that Liberator choice. As it just denied mining, it didn't actually kill that many SCVs.
Yeah, I truly...
Banshee does the same thing. It just like runs around and kills everything.
Plus, it could have possibly killed the Hellions, allowing ByuN's follow-up Hellions to get in. Like, I really feel like the Banshee would have been the better choice. But again, timing being the emphasis. Maybe he thought the Liberator getting there faster, because you have to take time to build the tech lab, then build the Banshee.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where like the Reaper would have been like, you know, starport, 1 base, must be a proxy. I have this much time, and actually the Liberator, maybe it's a prize enough. But it's, you know, the Banshee doesn't work here. Big loss, and ByuN is not in a good position.
That being said, though, ByuN is still not even close to out of this game. With a 3rd CC finished up at home, he's even going to be able to sustain some losses as long as it's not like snowballing to game ending. And I think, yeah, with tanks set up on the high ground, yeah, maybe the Hellions run by and maybe they pick up all the SCVs in the natural. 3 CCs can help bandage that damage. So MarineLorD has some extra life. He's got some cushion.
Not a good position, meaning like not the position that ByuN wished he was or was hoping he would be with the proxy. And of course, we can't forget that especially since he is going bio, pulling that starport back will take away the starport building time, and he's still building Banshees too, so it's like really no medevacs are going to be out.
Thank you, Direct Action, for the 10-month sub. He takes the direct action to subscribe 10 months in a row.
Nice.
The barracks floating is really nice for scouting for a lot of different reasons. It's kind of like a expensive overlord, but it scouts the Banshees, so he knew this was up here and hunts it down. However, leaves a bit of an opening down here. Turret built, though, and the Vikings should be able to drive this off. ByuN's in hold position in the wrong spot because he's looking elsewhere, and both Banshees go down simultaneously. This is not good.
God. That went from not in the position you wanted to be to being in now not a great position. So that contributed to the army loss, which is why it doesn't, put him in a great position. He has no more pressure to apply to a person who's going mech, who, like, your best chance at stopping them from winning the game is to actually kill them before the late game, before mid to late game. And that's just not going to happen now. ByuN has to recover from his own opener. And even though their base is done, it's going to take a while for it to get on location.
Is that a wall off? Well, first, this is a terrible place for a reactor. But also, is that a wall off?
Perfect. Ooh.
Well, let's point it out, guys. The new auditors wreck SCVs, and so do landed Vikings is that. But the tank should be good enough to keep this one getting too out of hand.
6 SCVs in like a second, I swear. Oh, it's ByuN who's turtling up on 2 bases with tanks, not the mech player, and that's just not... It's not a good picture, really. Again, the numbers are like, it's not that bad, right? But no, the picture is being painted on the minimap is what's a lot worse. I have to wait for Stim to really be able to do anything, and that's a lot of time for MarineLorD to not just get his third base up and running, not just get more production, but also to start investing into SAG defense, so that when ByuN is ready, he won't be able to do anything too sneaky.
Well, the barracks still gonna be floating scout on the top side. You could actually steal that tech lab if you wanted to. I'd say it'd be worth it just to land and lift off again, just to take the vision away from ByuN, because ByuN can of course see around the tech lab.
That's a good point.
Actually, it blows me away because I guess it was such an obvious thing to me, like you lift up and move tech labs around like all the time. But it always blew me away when I can't remember what game we were casting. Last year, though, there was this one game where somebody stole a tech lab, and it was actually a very important move in the game. And everyone in chat went, "Wow, look, I had no idea you could do that." And I'm like, really? Because it just seems so obvious to me.
I kind of remember that. I don't remember why it was important or what happened.
No, I don't remember either. It just stuck out with me, though, the part where people just didn't know that you could do that. And it just, even back in Brood War, was such an obvious thing, I guess.
Funny.
Oh, rip Cyclone. He's under fire. Kills two Hellions, not bad. Problem is, though, for ByuN, I think last game when he was playing medevac less, he was at a really great position because he had that air control from the early dedication to Vikings. His starport having been across the map and not producing anything off a reactor, he's so far behind in the air control, he's not even trying to get it. He's just going for the medevacs again. And I really don't know if that's going to work. MarineLorD, like, was that Echo? He was taking like really bad trades, but still was able to win out because he was beating back the medevacs.
Yeah, this is reminding me more of that game, actually, because the Marines are what's accompanying for such a long period of time. Again, Rodder's only just coming out and nothing really else.
What if Game 5 is a accumulation of all 4 games leading up to it? Like we saw Game 1 with the Banshee, right? Game 2 now with the medevacs. No, I don't.
Reaching a little bit too much.
I think I am, but it would be cool if that was actually the representation of the way the series ended. I will say though, for ByuN, it's very risky to be pushing in like this. He does not have a lot of Marines. This is not a big army. What if the Vikings just dive on top of the tanks and land? They'll kill the Marines and then the tanks. Hell, auto turrets might still push this back. MarineLorD, please.
He should. Well, even Seeker missiles would actually be decent again because you can't pick up the tanks.
Well, I don't think he's got enough energy for 2, and 1 doesn't kill it.
That's true. That's a good point.
Oh, they increased the Seeker missile energy. I didn't realize. 125.
Well, you know, because it's so much more powerful with its other buff. It nerfed it in some other way.
Well, actually, once it gets upgrades, it does get pretty powerful, yeah. And I guess we weren't really seeing much Seeker Missile usage anyway, so it wasn't, I guess it's not that big of a deal. Whatever. Auto turrets are beast. Thank you, Chardon, for the cheers. 100 bits. Thanks for casting all the time. Sorry you can't sub. Hey, man, it's appreciated. Just thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys are watching those commercials, too. Again, that quick reminder, by the way, Twitch is being really awesome, and they're doing this 50% bonus on all ad revenue till December 31st. So those of you guys, I know there's some ad block and U-block discussion in chat earlier. Those of you who watch our ads, I cannot begin to tell you how much we appreciate it. It is literally our paycheck. Cautions for the 2-month sub. Thanks so much. But middle of the map, funny enough, I guess the Watchtower's been controlled from ByuN. It was going to be an interesting point to try and fight. Raven gets sniped. Vikings push back, but they're going to snipe off the medevacs. Of course, MarineLorD has not used his own yet. He's waiting to drop those Hellbats, but he could drop them on the tank. He could drop them on the Marauders. Point is, he just picked off like 6 medevacs, and now ByuN's got nothing to heal up this bio. Just one single medevac. One single working mom trying to take care of all our kids.
All the babies. Yeah, MarineLorD is still in control of this game, especially as he secures a 4th base. But ByuN has done a good job recovering from failed Banshees, plural, failed, absolutely failed Banshees.
That's true.
He has on 4 bases, he's got almost maxed, and he does have some decent upgrades too. He actually has an army that, you know, finds the proper position, could win.
I love this. We saw this out of ByuN as well, but both players, when they get air control, moving towards Liberators, I think is the absolute right move. Pushing through the middle of the maps, costing MarineLorD a little bit more than I think he expected, but he does take control of the middle of the map. However, a Bioforce is heading over to the bottom right. This is not a planetary. There's too many SCVs here. In fact, 28 worth of oversaturation is going to be a lot of dead SCVs.
Yeah, and running 2 defend as a mech player is quite hard to do. Set up, it's perfect. 6 SCVs go down pretty quickly, and ByuN could go to the 4th base. He just doesn't know it.
Well, the problem is he's slowly being choked out back at home. Still bleeding out a tank here and there. Still slowly being pushed back. And MarineLorD might not have the craziest amount of units on this side of the map. Oh, nice pick off out of ByuN. Almost gets that last Liberator. But, oh, this Command Center's going to die.
Whoa. Rip. Is it, though? Is it? Is it?
Well,
is it?
I mean, if a player as good as ByuN lets his Command Center burn.
I guess these are derping out trying to repair it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always hate pathfinding and stuff like that. Liberator does get picked up over here. TLO with the elegant bit cheers. 69. Thank you so much, dude. I am super excited for your series, by the way, dude. I can't wait to see what you're doing with Zerg in the current patch. This one is a planetary, and paired up with a siege tank, this is going to be a little bit tougher to drive off this base. Especially the army wrapper on the south side. I think he's got this. MarineLorD's position on the other side of the map has not really gained him a lot of advantage, though. Like, he's pushed great, but he didn't take the watchtower. This wasn't a base, because he already knew ByuN was trying to take the top left. He shut that base down, after all. Drops the Hellbats perhaps a little bit too preemptively, and now the Marauders, yeah, they're going to push into this. The tanks are sieged up, though, but the Marauders are hopping on top. There's more tanks from the backside. They should slaughter the Marauders. 70 damage a shot is a lot of damage for these poor units.
Yeah, I've been in ByuN's position right there so many times. I got this. Oh, Jesus, there's 6 more tanks.
Yeah.
But that was well reinforced, I suppose, by MarineLorD, who does have even more reinforcements coming to protect his 4th base.
Of course, let's not forget ByuN is out of medevacs again, so as these stim in, they're hurting themselves quite a bit. The unsieged tank's proven to be a little bit better in this position. If he had sieged them up, he may have lost them. That being said, he might still lose them to the Hellbats, still pushing through this, picks up 2 to escape. That planetary is a good way to hold on. But this...
He's actually taken back this game with that concave.
Absolutely. I was going to bring up, too, look at his upgrades, by the way. It looks so weird to see. Like, okay, MarineLorD's not doing bad. He's got +2 weapon upgrades, sure. But ByuN's on 3, too. He's got vehicle weapons as well. He's not playing this out too badly. Thank you for the 500 bits. Ria Mars is Alkinson91. Please talk to me. So, paging whoever that is. Talk to Ria Mar, bro.
Did you have a fight? Did you break up?
ByuN's going to come around the south side. MarineLorD's a little bit out of position for this. But I think the Hellbats inside those medevacs are real game changers. Once those get in on top of the tanks, it's the tanks that are killing him more than the bio. It doesn't get the tank for it. He tries to get there at the very end. Does snatch off that tank. Now the small amount of Marines and Marauders left are not enough to really... Well, actually, he might just get the command center. It's not many Marines, but there's nothing to stop them.
If he focuses his time, because that was the problem the last time. Only 1 Marine shooting at it. Yep, there it goes. And ByuN has recovered from early game, not losses necessarily, but just not doing anything in the early game when he was trying to. And is going to win this game now. Up 50 supply. Taking over the map with expansions. I really thought MarineLorD was in a very good position, having secured 4 bases without much trouble, but some of the fights just went poorly for him.
I gotta give it to MarineLorD. Like, okay, congratulations, ByuN. You won the series 3-2. Yay, it's ByuN. But MarineLorD played that out really well for what we were, like, I guess I'm gonna use air quotes here, for anticipating out of mech.
Mm-hmm.
But he stuck to his guns. He didn't change it up. He did the same thing every single game, and he was able to not just tie up the series, but make that last game even close. Like, that was not an easy game for ByuN. There's no doubt in my mind he actually struggled beating MarineLorD.
Absolutely struggled. Really cool TvT.
It really was. I don't know what's up next. Let me just go to the match list here real quick as I update the score as well. I think it's TLO and Kelazur on deck. I'm not 100% sure, guys. I don't have the schedule from what it was, at least, but we are going to go to a commercial break while we do find out what's on the way. So thank you so much for watching. We got 3 more best of 5s coming up, and we'll see you soon with more of the top dogs round of 8 when we return.